Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your January 2021 general reading. We're looking at the first 2 weeks of January from the 1st through the 15th. This reading is for the air sign of Aquarius. Welcome everyone. The very first general reading for the new year of 2021. Hopefully a much better year for all of us because hasn't 2020 been a doozy? I am recording these in the last 2 days of December, so I can still wish you a happy new year. So this reading is for the air sign of Aquarius. That's Aquarius sun, moon, rising, if your Venus is in Aquarius, or if you're cross-watching for an Aquarian as well. It's all relevant, but of course being a general reading is going to resonate a little differently for everyone. So watch all of your signs if you know them for additional perspective and insight. And also thanks for hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and for sharing all your support, feedback, and comments. Most welcome. If you find that any of the readings resonate with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or perhaps as a gift for a friend, family, or loved one, you can click on the description link below. You'll see my email address there, Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Feel free to email me directly. I can usually respond within the same day with more info. And I do readings full-time. It's all that I do. So I'm pretty diligent at working with people's schedules to get personal readings set up in as timely a fashion as possible. I do offer a wide variety of readings, and particularly popular this time of year as we're heading into a new year are the 6 and 12-month overviews that I do, which give us a bit of a sneak peek ahead in different areas of our life of what's coming. So something to keep in mind. Okay, Aquarius, let's move into this reading and see what the first 2 weeks of January 2021 are holding for you. I am using Legacy of the Divine Tarot, clarifying with the Gilded Tarot Royale. Aquarius. Alright, Aquarius, we begin with the Two of Coins, followed by the Nine of Swords, the Queen of Swords, there you are, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, with the Magician, the Nine of Coins, with the Four of Cups. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy for the first half of January is the Nine of Wands. So trying to struggle through the end of something, or towards the end of something, but perhaps feeling a bit discouraged, perhaps feeling like giving up on something. Tens in the tarot represent a cycle ending or fulfillment, achievement, or coming full circle. So the nines represent being very close to the end of a cycle. The Nine of Wands, it looks like a difficult cycle. This card is sometimes referenced as the dark night of the soul, or being in that space where it's darkest before dawn, the 11th hour kind of card. You just keep pushing through. You have just a little ways left to go. It may be that just when you thought you were getting close to the end of something, the grouping of wands in the background can represent yet one more obstacle, one more challenge to face, and you're like, but I've already been through so much. I'm tired, I'm discouraged, I don't know how to get through this thing. Maybe you don't know that you're so close to ending it and you're just feeling like giving up, or how can you do this, or if you should do this. That's kind of the overall energy. But it's typically an energy of just, the last mile is the hardest, but you're so close, you're so close. But feeling discouraged, tired, maybe feeling like giving up on something. And stressed out about perhaps needing to make a decision or a choice, which is kind of what I'm getting from this whole reading looking at it, Aquarius. It feels like, you're in the tail end of something, whether you realize it or not, of something you've likely been dealing with for quite some time. Is it ever going to be done? Is it ever going to be over? Am I ever going to get to this, that point where you can stop or continue on to another journey? Maybe there's something that needs to be looked at or addressed, and you're stressed about it, but maybe not enough to actually deal with something. It kind of feels like being at a crossroads, and it's like, okay, I'm supposed to deal with this, and I'm supposed to make a decision and a choice about this, or this, but I don't really want to. I just kind of want to go off and do my own thing. I don't really want to deal with this because I'm tired. I've been dealing with it enough. That's kind of what this whole reading has this feeling of. We have the Two of Coins and the Nine of Swords. The Two of Coins, twos often represent being at a crossroads or duality or needing to make a choice, juggling a couple of different things, which the Two of Coins can be. It can represent being particularly busy trying to keep everything going, because coins, or pentacles as it's known in other decks, is governed by the element of earth, so it's often about the physical structure of our day-to-day life, money, job, finance, property, resources, assets, long-term relationships, whatever it is in our life that gives our day-to-day life the feeling of stability and security, the efforts we put into obtaining and maintaining those things. So the Two of Coins can represent literally trying to keep everything in the air. Here he's not juggling. In some decks he's juggling, but he's got these two different things. Maybe he is juggling. He's also trying to ride this unicycle. I mean, he's busy. He's got his hands full. At some point he's going to have to stop doing something. But for the time being, he's just trying to keep everything going. And feeling stressed. The underlying card is the Nine of Swords. Stress about the future, a future which hasn't played out yet, but you're thinking about it over and over again, obsessively, too much, with almost always the worst possible outcome, but it hasn't played out yet. This is a card that can represent insomnia, obsessive negative thinking, usually about fear of an unknown future and how it's going to play out, and we're always envisioning the worst thing. It's kind of a card that represents your worst fears hijacking your rational mind. It's not to say that the source of your concern or fear or whatever it is that you've been struggling with isn't valid, but this is a card of worrying about it obsessively, negatively, too much. You can cut that 9 right down to a 4, So trying to keep everything going, maybe feeling overwhelmed, stressing out about it, and just thinking, I just really want to be done. I just want to maybe give up. Trying to be rational here. In the center we have the Queen of Swords, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Swords is governed by the element of air, mental energy. The Queen and the King of Swords, very mentally acute, smart, well-educated, with the ability to see through things, like putting the emotion of something aside and seeing right through the heart of the matter. The Queen of Swords has been through quite a lot in her life, so she has little patience for BS, right? Been there, done that, t-shirts hanging in the closet. She can cut right through things, and she tries almost always to make decisions based on fact, logic, and the wisdom of the experience she's had. Very mental energy. Not one that's prone to making spontaneous, impulsive decisions in the emotion of the moment. She likes to use rational, practical logic, because that's what some of her painful experiences have taught her is the best thing to do. It's not the mind against the heart, it's the mind before the heart. And what accompanies her is the magician, the entrepreneur, and the manifester. This is somebody who's worked long and hard to get to a place where he can manifest. He knows how to take what he thinks and dreams about and manifest them into physical reality by using a combination of his God-given talents and the hard work that experience has taught him. He's sometimes seen in tarot decks as juggling each of the 4 symbols of the tarot, which is really about the elements. And what that represents is that he has reached a point of mastery over the elements, emotional, mental, physical, and passion, creativity. He knows how to combine them with his experience and hard work and talents to make something into reality. He knows it's not enough just to envision and wish and dream. You have to take that, you have to use your own literal hard work and talents and experience to actually make what you want physically happen, physically manifest. He's very good at that. He's worked hard to do that. So this is about being logical and practical about how to manifest something, Or because of this 9 of Wands, is it even possible? Am I just fooling myself here? Should I give up? I think, and this overall and underlying energy of, I don't even know if I want to deal with this anymore. That's kind of what I'm getting. And then, but it's a short period of time. We're looking at just 2 weeks, first 2 weeks of January. And then we have the Nine of Cups. This is a very self-oriented card: independence, self-sufficiency, self-empowerment. The freedom and confidence that working hard to get to where you're at and doing it yourself and not having to rely on other people or ask for help has gotten you to a point of self-sufficiency and self-empowerment. You know that you love yourself, where you are, where you've come from, how hard you've worked to get to where you're at and where you're going. You don't need help from anybody or anything. It's a very independent card, very independent energy, and being happy in that independence as well. It's sometimes called the happy, single, successful female card, though it could be male. But it doesn't even matter if it's single. It's a card of somebody who's very independent and self-sufficient because they've worked hard to get to that place and they're enjoying the fruits of their labors. And underneath that is the Four of Cups, which is a card that represents kind of a lack of interest or enthusiasm in something. It can sometimes represent ingratitude for the blessings that you have and what you might be offered, and boredom, a general lack of enthusiasm, and it might be that as well. I mean, for some of you, this might be a very specifically oriented issue that you've been dealing with and struggling with for quite some time, and you're just like, oh, I'm just not really interested in dealing with this anymore. Maybe I'm supposed to make a decision or address something about it, but maybe I just don't feel like it, I'm trying to think practically and logically. And maybe it's just time I just kind of just focus on myself and do my own thing, because whatever it is that I'm being offered or whatever is going around on me, I just don't feel emotionally connected to it right now. For some of you, it might be just a general, sometimes that immediate post-holiday malaise we go through sometimes of, oh, I've just had this time off, or oh, whatever, and now it's, back to the grind again kind of thing. It might be that for some of you. So let's clarify a little bit of this. Let's clarify that Nine of Wands, this overall energy of, do I really want to keep struggling through? It feels, again, Aquarius, like you've just been working hard trying to keep things going, trying to keep things in the air, trying very hard just to keep things going, but maybe feeling like you're on a treadmill and working so hard to keep things moving, but the scenery never changes. You're never really getting where you envision going. Clarify the Nine of Wands. The Emperor just jumped out. He's on top of it all. He rules all the kingdoms, all the kings and queens. It's a huge job. He has his finger on the pulse of everything, which takes self-control, self-discipline, self-will, sacrificing perhaps his own wants and desires for the greater good of his empire, his family, his people, whatever. This is somebody who has a lot on their shoulders as well. Give me one more card for that Nine of Wands and Emperor. The Two of Swords. Yeah, feeling stuck. And the Two of Swords can also represent that there may be something that needs to be dealt with, or a decision or choice or path of action that needs to be taken, but for the time being there's a reluctance or a resistance to look at it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to feel anything about it. You don't want to deal with it. Which in one sense is not a typical trait of the Emperor, because he understands that things need to be dealt with as they come up. Otherwise things pile up. I'm just sort of getting this stoic sort of feeling. that you're just trying to be stoic, be brave, put one foot in front of the other, take care of things. For example, a good analogy of the kind of energy that I'm feeling is that of a, single working parent who, is up before the sun and doesn't go to bed until long after it's set, and, is just focused on running from this place and that place and taking care of the kids and making sure the homework gets done, the groceries get shopped for, and the dinner gets cooked, and everything gets done, and people do their homework, and then they go to bed, and then blah blah blah, and getting up and doing it all over again, and maybe there's something that needs to be dealt with or something that needs to be addressed, but it feels like you're just trying to, for now, just kind of do the things that you're supposed to do and be strong about it and all of that kind of stuff. And maybe feeling, although this wouldn't be for single parents because who can abandon that, right? Um, that's just an example. But maybe under or something that you've been like trying to do all the right things, but it doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere. And maybe that needs to be looked at and that needs to be addressed because maybe you need to make some choices or some changes. But it feels like you just don't want to right now. Let's clarify the Two of Coins. It feels like you're trying to be responsible in a situation that you're stuck in, but you don't want to take a look at making changes or leaving or doing something different because that wouldn't be, maybe you see it as like not an ethical thing to do. I don't know. Let me clarify some more. Clarify this Two of Coins. Yeah, the Four of Cups. So we have the Four of Cups twice here. Whenever you have a repeating card in a spread, it usually represents that there's an abundance of energy in focus in that area, or you need to focus on that area. The Four of Cups, it can sometimes be a card of selfishness and ingratitude. You do have blessings to be grateful for. That's what the three upright cups are. They're full. There's another one being offered to you, but perhaps you're not willing to take it or to look at it or to address it because you already have some cups. You're not so interested in that. It might be that some of you have an opportunity for something new, a new situation, a new job, a new relationship, a new whatever. You're being offered that, but you're already caught up in something else. And even though what you're caught up in is feeling kind of overwhelming at times, perhaps you feel like to abandon it or to seek out or accept something new would be unethical. Because there's energy here too, Aquarius, about really needing to take a look at something and maybe doing something about it, but you're not interested, at least for the time being. Let's clarify the Magician. But yet it feels like something that you've been struggling with is not working. Or you're struggling to get through the end of something. And you're trying to be ethical and honorable and practical and logical. The Star, renewed, restored hope, faith, and optimism. Chronologically in the tarot, the Star comes after the Tower, after something major has happened and perhaps things have broken down. The Star comes in for recovery, during recovery. And then we have the Ten of Cups, which is the happy home card. So for some of you, this may have a theme of something that affects the home and family, or it could be about the home and family dynamics, a relationship, something of that sort. You know, again, it's hard to be too specific in a general reading because whatever this issue is, I mean, it might be work and job related and it just affects or could potentially affect the home and family, or it might be about the home and family or a marriage or primary relationship, whatever that happy home, white picket fence image is. There's an implication here that something has happened in the past and that you're struggling through, but now you feel like you're just caught in the same cycle again. Something isn't working, but yet you're not willing quite yet to make changes that might end something or take something new because you're worried about, another example might be, somebody who's caught in a marriage that just isn't going anywhere and there's issues and problems and breakdowns, and maybe you're thinking about leaving or making changes, but would that be ethical? Would that be honorable? I don't know, but how can is it really possible to end this difficult cycle and get to a better place while I'm still in this relationship, job, whatever it is? And you're trying to be practical about it, but underneath there's a sense of wanting to abandon it because it just feels so overwhelming, and maybe it's not even overwhelming in the moment, maybe that's already happened. It's just this weariness is kind of what I'm getting, and it feels like maybe towards the end of this time period, again, it's only 2 weeks period of time, so we're looking at around the mid-January, we have, look, I'm not interested, I'm just going to focus on myself, I'm just going to go do my thing and focus on myself, at least for the time being. Let's clarify that 9 of coins. And maybe this, maybe there is something that needs to be addressed, something that needs to be acted on, a choice or decision that needs to be made. But it feels like for the time being, you're just like, not right now. And I'm actually getting the sense that that's okay. Maybe you just need to take some time off and not deal with this for the time being. Clarify the 9 of Cups. Independence, self-sufficiency, focusing on yourself because you're not really interested in focusing on anything else right now. The Sun. Yeah, this is an uplifting of energy. This is not having all these worries and cares and pressures and restrictions. So, yeah, I feel this sense of, it almost feels like a heaviness in breathing, Aquarius, of, you're doing all the right things and you're doing all the right work and, you're in there, you're doing the graph thing and all of that kind of stuff but it's like, it feels like you need a break. It feels like, for me, it's okay, whatever this is, for the time being to set it aside and not deal with it. Yeah, I know the Emperor kind of takes care of everything, but I think you've been doing a lot of that, and I think whatever this situation is, I think you need to give yourself a bit of a mental and perhaps physical vacation for a little while. But let's touch base with Spirit. Advice and guidance for Aquarius on the best way to navigate through this situation, or at least for the first 2 weeks of January 2021, because we really don't want to start our year exhausted. Three of Cups. Party. Socialize. Well, as much as is safe in your area. This is a card of like leaving your worries outside your front door, and enjoying yourself. Whether it's by yourself or with other people, again, if it's safe to do so. This is a card that has a strong social energy, a strong energy of fun. Getting together, kindred spirits, positive social connections in your community, drinking, dancing, letting go of it for a while, just having fun, or doing things for yourself for no other reason than that they feel good, they make you laugh, they make you feel good, they're pleasurable. And behind that, the 9 of Pentacles again, so we have 2 9 of Pentacles. It's interesting that your repeating cards really kind of focus on self. And the fact that they've shown up in advice from Spirit means that, sometimes when things come up that we don't want to deal with, sometimes we're meant to deal with them anyway, whether we want to or not. But here, it's like, it feels like you have been doing these things, you have been dealing with it, you have been struggling, and maybe there's something that you're supposed to do or somebody wants you to do or decide on or whatever, or you should. but you don't want to. You just want to focus on yourself, like focus on your own stability, focus on your own fun for the time being. And it looks like Spirit is suggesting to you strongly that at least during the first 2 weeks of January, do that. Just set whatever this is aside and just have fun. Be a little indulgent, maybe even a little hedonistic. I mean, be safe, right? That's what Spirit is saying. So Aquarius, that is your reading for the first 2 weeks of January. I hope that you enjoyed it, or if you didn't enjoy it, I hope at least that it was helpful and useful to you. Again, if any of these readings resonate with you, you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for anyone else, feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you and to work with you. I will see you all in a couple of weeks for the mid-month readings. I hope you all have a wonderful new year and transition into the beginning of that. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.